Coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin by way of Stone Mountain, Georgia. Birthed by the great state of South Carolina is the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Your place for any and everything in hunting, fishing, sports, and outdoor related, with heavy doses of randomness, guests, and an all-around good time. Here's your host, proud Gamecock, South Carolina forever, AB3.
All right, now everybody, thank you for joining me, AB3, for another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Welcome. Come on in. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for just taking the time to consume the audio that we put out for you. Remember, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, make sure you hit that 5-star rating for us. It helps us out a lot. This week on the podcast, we have the conclusion of my conversation with Mr. Fred Newton. If you listened last week, Southern Attraction Mudslangers was the title of last week's podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you go check that out. You know, we talked about ATV riding. We talked about some mudding, just outfitting ATVs, customizing ATVs, all kind of stuff with ATVs side by side and just out here on the trails. This week, in the conclusion of the conversation, we get into a little bit of hunting. We talk a little bit more about ATVs, and then just a lot of bow hunting and feeders. We talked a little bit about feeders when you're out there feeding, you know, corn and protein and stuff, just the different type of feeders, and he helps me kind of troubleshoot a problem that I was having with one of my feeders. So without any further ado, we're going to get into part 2 of my conversation, Southern Attraction Mudslangers, part 2 with Fred Newton on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. Now, on these trails, are they public trails? Like, what's the public trail system like in Arkansas? Are these private landowners that you running these on? Because here in Georgia, like mostly every place where you go, if you don't know like a landowner or something, you basically got to go to, you know, an ATV park. I think they got like one public trail. They don't do a whole lot for public trails here in Georgia. What's that like in Arkansas?
Where we at in the country, you know, it's different people land and some of the hunting land we got. But what we do, we establish a relationship with the people land we ride on, and you know, we basically try to stay where we not tearing up nothing pretty much, or we'll, you know, try to talk with them and see what's good and what's not. Mm-hmm. We ride a whole bunch of gas line and high lines.
Okay.
What we try to do, a lot of people we talk to, long we ride during the summer, it's fine.
Okay.
That's why I said, like the beginning of August, I pretty much try to shut all the riding down that way where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Because people getting ready for hunting season.
Right.
And you know, I'm a hunter, so I know how it is.
Yeah, right.
And try to get the roads right. We basically try to stay off the road that they going into their hunting lease or where they deer stand at. So we basically try to find, you know, some old bad spots that's out of way. But when you got a large group like that, man, you got to pretty much stay on high lines and gas lines. Because maneuvering through the woods, man, people get lost
right.
and hung up. You got these big wire bikes and stuff that you'll have to try to get through the woods or cut bushes and trees or make another way around for us. So most of the stuff we ride, little dirt roads, back country roads and stuff, and high lines and gas line. We probably have about a few spot that we go through the woods, through land and stuff. But basically, they establish a relationship with the landowners or lease people or whoever, you know, talk with them, get it okay, you know, let them know what we doing and when we coming.
Okay. But
and then we have what we call family land people in the group that have family land that we ride on.
Okay.
So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
The power line is so funny because like I ride by, especially obviously out like in the country, but even, you know, in the suburbs and stuff, you can see these long lines, you know, like they used to say back in the day, you know, as far as the eye can see, like you're looking at them power lines and you can just see like all the greenery and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I would love to cut loose on one of those things.
Yeah.
But obviously
Yeah.
you just can't go riding on, down the power line trail or whatever. It's A, especially if you don't know who lands it is, and B, if it's government land, and that's a whole bunch of other BS to come along with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those power lines, they look now. Are you taking like the road that those trucks and stuff take when they need to go in there, or are you just tearing up and just making your own way?
No, we basically trucks that go in on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go down through them. Most of them, when it rain, they'll get muddy.
Yep.
So we'll go down through, just sling a little mud. But most of our bad holes we got, they like around little swamp area, creek areas.
Yeah.
And we have some on Highline that some of the family members own.
Mm-hmm.
We dug a couple of bonnet holes on. We got the permission to build a couple of bonnet holes. What we do is take a track hole or something, and we make our own mud hole.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But now we have got off point a couple of times, and we didn't get in trouble. We had a talk with the landowner. Whatever we tore up something, we'll try to help him out any kind of way we can, or whatever. But we have never been in no real bad trouble by riding.
Okay.
We basically try to, talk to all the landowners or do whatever before we go where we going.
Wow.
Cause you don't want no police or no big fine going to jail, nothing like that.
Right. Or having somebody come there. Have you been able, even if you talk to them and, you get everything squared away, every now and then there's somebody that's just, not minding their business or call themselves being a good citizen, or, maybe they are and trying to be a good citizen. I guess I shouldn't be too cynical about that. Either way.
Yeah. We try to.
Well, no, not you guys, but, you have somebody that's like, out there kind of not, minding other folks' business and stuff. My mom does it a lot, and I get on her about it. It's just like, take your behind back in the house. Don't worry about what them people doing. So my question is, do you run into any kind of trouble like that where you got people that don't know what's going on, but you've got everything cleared on your end and you've talked to the landowner, but then the sheriff or somebody come out and find out what's going on because somebody called them thinking that they're doing the right thing?
Yep, we have did it. One time, since we right here on the Arkansas-Louisiana border, where we ride, we messed around. We was on the Louisiana side, on the gas line.
Okay.
And it was just some people down there. I guess they were frog gigging or something like that, and we were coming through. Well, they called the sheriff out. He come out once he seen what was going on and seeing how many people it was. Man, he was like, it ain't no problem. He just got the wrong misunderstanding.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least, it didn't turn into an altercation or God forbid, even worse, a hashtag. So that's good that it was easily diffused. And then just real quick, I want to clean up one thing for those you listening. You might have heard the term frog gigging. A lot of y'all may know what that is, but for those of you that don't know, basically going out there catching frogs. That's all. So, which is something on the list that I need to do myself. But anyway, all right, let's transition here, and then I need to get you out of here because I know I'm cutting into your rest and your sleeping time.
Oh man, you all right?
As I said earlier, just by looking at your post and looking at what you got going on, you are basically the Don King of Arkansas. You promoting these events, you promoting these, other shows and concerts and stuff. You got your hand in a lot of things. What I want to know about, talk to me about this bow hunting tournament. Cause did I read it right? You've been putting it on for almost 10 years?
Yes, sir. It's 10 years. It'll be the 10th year anniversary this year.
Wow. Man, how old are you?
I'll be 40 in November the 30th.
Okay.
This year.
Wow.
A lot of people say I got an old soul.
Yeah. I can see where they would get that from. But hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. So, okay. So talk about this bow hunting tournament. Cause this is something that I've kicked around in my head to try to do either here in Georgia and South Carolina and don't really know the steps of how to do it. And we'll talk about that offline. But tell me about your tournament. What's your tournament about? Is there money involved? Prizes? Pride? What all of it? Like what you got here?
Man, I've been shooting bows since, I think I started it was around like in 2000. As I started, down here, you got a whole bunch of people that bow hunt, especially people of color, around here. So, you see the little tournaments going on and all that. So when I started, I was sitting there, I was thinking, I was like, man, what could I do? Me, man, I like having gatherings, just meet people, have fun. We cook, my grandma, I got it from my grandmother, never did meet a stranger. Man, my grandmother, she used to cook big pots and you didn't even have to know her. If you come around strong and you were hungry and needed some place to sleep, you can be a stranger. She'll let you in. So I basically got it from my grandmother. But my tournament, I come up with the idea of just having it started out. It was just 6, 7 people of us. We set targets. Back then, we didn't have no 3D target. We have a little makeshift deer target or hay bales or something like that. We set them out through the woods and basically, we shoot, collect points, different point system. And man, it grew on. So now it's got a little bigger, but it kind of fell off a little bit. But we have trophies, prizes, money prizes. Then we do prize shoots. We give away trophy. We'll have an individual competition where you got your hunting set up. Can't have no competition boat.
See, I like that. I like that right there.
No range finders.
Oh,
you got to guess the yardage.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Wait. Time out. So now when you setting these targets out, are you just kind of feeling it when you putting it out, or are you standing at the line ranging it so you can kind of like space them out and you know what the distance is, but maybe the competitor doesn't know? Like how are you doing that, man? You handicapping people off the rip.
I tell anybody, the farthest shot is 40 yard.
Okay.
That's the furthest, the shots go be.
Okay.
And what I do, I go out, I do it in different areas, man. I do it in different areas. I try to make it every year. Like we got people come from Louisiana to shoot. I try to, hook up with them, and go to they place one year, basically, just keeping it in different areas, try to get closer to different people who do it, where they ain't got to travel.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, I go out, cut little lanes out, and, I think about how far I want this target, set it up. And, some of the shots we be off platforms too.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, off platforms, and then I try to set one up where it's on what I call a roller system. Put it on the cable and I have like a 4-wheeler winch pulling. So, but man, I got all kind of different scenarios, man. I try to come up with something new every year.
Man.
But it basically from anywhere from 40 yards and, you get 2 shots. If you miss your first shots, you got a second shot, but it's half of the point, so whatever you hit.
Okay. So like if you come back and you hit a 10, like you completely miss it the first time, you come back and you hit it in the 10 ring, you only get 5 points.
You only get 5 points.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we'll have anywhere to about 10 targets, set up in the individual. And once, everybody go through, we shoot, round up the points, see who the winner. If one person got more points, he the winner.
Okay.
He'll get a big trophy.
Everybody only goes around one time, so it's not like a tournament style or like head to head or anything like that. It's just everybody goes around and then your points value, at the end.
Yes, sir. And then, if you have a tie at the top, what we do is a shoot off. I allow to pick a distance with a target and have you them two shoot it. And whoever hit, whatever points they hit, whoever hit the highest, that's who win.
Wow.
Yeah, so man, it's fun. What I try to do on the individual is a trophy. And then the interest fee for that group, I put the money in it also.
Right. Put it in a pot and then you just go.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And we have a 2-man team tournament, where it's 2 people. Then it's just like an individual self. You add your partner. And, it's group shooting against groups. And I have a prize shoot. I try to get a good prize every year to give away, lock on stand cameras, 55-gallon deer coin,
Right.
basically whatever you got to do with hunting.
Yeah, like a good hunting prize. Are you
Yeah.
getting donations, or are you?
No, sir. It comes straight out my pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, no donations, sponsors or nothing.
Wow.
Dying this way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it basically coming out. Man, I basically don't make nothing out the tournament. I might make a little bit, not nothing, but to me, it's not about that. About making the money out there. Man, it's about just having fun.
Yeah, just having a good time and having fun.
Yes, sir, and meet new people. That's what I like. The more people you meet, I don't know. I just like meeting new people and just having fun. Just showing love.
Yeah.
Especially with how everything in the world going. It's all about showing love.
Now, with your tournament, you were saying like you cutting like lanes and stuff. So like, are you doing this on your property, and it's not like just straight across different targets? Like it's almost like a 3D course kind of deal.
Yes, sir. Some of them we might cut lanes, or some of them it's like a real life scenario. You have anywhere from a deer to a hog, turkey, bobcat, fox. Let's see, leopard. We'll take one like in a hunting scenario. You might see a deer come between two trees or behind a bush, or you might have a straight shot with no obstacles in the way. And then you might come to a spot where you have to climb up on the lock on. We'll try not to put them no higher than 5 feet, because I have a buddy that shoot with me.
Okay.
He fought in the war. I forgot which one it was, but he was blowed up in a tank, and it's hard on his legs. He can walk, but his legs are kind of messed up.
Right.
He tried to make it equipped for him too. You allowed to come up, have to shoot out a ground blind.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then,
man, you got this thing set up like you have thought it like all the way through.
Yes,
and just got it like set up, man. That is freaking awesome. When is this tournament? Is it on the weekend?
It's this year. It gonna be on the Sunday. What date is it on? Hold on.
Okay.
I forgot the date. September the 22nd.
Sunday, September 22nd. That's the second week of deer season in Georgia.
Yeah. Down here, it's the week before deer season.
Okay. You're kind of killing me, but okay. Cause I'm trying to figure in my mind how I can pull that off. We'll talk about, I won't bog down the podcast with that. We'll talk about that, as far as me trying to pull that off. Cause I like that. Even if I just can figure out a way to get there and watch, I like that idea. I mean, that tournament, what's the biggest number? 10 years now going strong. What's the largest turnout that you've had?
The largest turnout, man, one year we had I think it was around 15 to 20 people in the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. And, especially with the exposure, down here, around here, you don't have too many people bow hunt, or if they don't know you, they won't come, or.
Sure.
But, 15 to 20 people turned out one year, and man, it was a good one.
Man,
I think we shot all the way to we couldn't see no more.
No, yeah. That the way that you got it, cause you see like a lot of 3D tournaments, and I've seen guys, posting about 3D tournaments. And again, no knock on what anybody does. I mean, whatever works for you works for you. But it seems like it's real. Like the thing that has kind of like deterred me from doing 3D, it's like you got guys mixed with hunting setups, or you got like a target bow, or not target, competition, style bow. Guys got bows that's exclusively for 3D that might, be a little different than their hunting setup. The way that you sound like you got yours, it's just like run and gun, like let's go. Like we out in the field, this is a hunting tournament and it's a hunting setup, and whatever situation that you think that you might come across when you hunting, you liable to come across in this tournament. It's not just standing flat foot, behind the line at 20 yards or 35 yards or whatever, and then just seeing, who can get points depending on the rings that you hit. Like you got a little, you got a little sauce to it. You got a little spice to your tournament. I like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I like to try to think out the box, with his hunting. Like this year, I already got one idea that I'm coming up with. Basically, what we're going to be is a pond. So I'm trying to put a deer on a float or a boat or something.
Come on.
Or
Come on.
shoot out the boat.
Come on, dog. I thought you was gonna say like shoot across the pond or something like that. You gonna put somebody in a boat and have them wading across the pond trying to shoot that. And it's funny because I've seen pictures of where people have like taken canoes, I guess, onto like small island or like take like a small boat or a pirogue or something like that and go to like an island, like a kind of sealed off island or whatever and hunt deer. And they pull some monsters out of there, by the way. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's a good thing. It's a good tournament. You know, to have fun, you know, all the bow shooters that come, man, they basically, the only thing they have to pay for is just whatever group they want to shoot in. You know, we got food, the food be free. Mm-hmm. Try to throw some wild hog on there.
Oh, okay.
Barbecue deer. Sometimes we'll cook fish. You know, we try to put the food in there too. So, cause down here we love to eat.
Man, that's one of my favorite trips is when we go to like Louisiana and stuff like to eat and whatnot. And even when I used to go to Arkansas, matter of fact, when I used to go to Fayetteville, Vietnam's what they call it. The Fayetteville. Oh, well, we used to go there. There's a catfish place. God, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a catfish place right down the road from University of Arkansas. And every time, like after we finished like a game or something down there, we would go to that catfish spot. So I know, like Louisiana, I know in Arkansas, you guys eat good.
Yeah, we eat good down here. But man, food, like I said, brims, you know, catfish fillet or deer or barbecue coon.
Okay, wait a minute. No, Fred, no.
You don't eat no coon, man?
No, look here, man.
Man, coon is good.
You are I don't want to say recently, like in the last month or so that I've been talking to, probably about the fourth or fifth person that has tried to sell me on barbecue coon. There's a guy that stays by my mom, and when I go home, you know, we talk because like, you know, usually, you know, he helps out and stuff when I'm not there. So usually I'll bring him, you know, whatever I've shot like over the season, whether it's geese, ducks, you know, I've deer, hogs, you know, turkey, whatever, you know, I can bring to him just as a gratitude for helping out, you know, when I'm not able to be there. And we were talking and I was telling him about the raccoons, that basically my entire turkey season, I feel like was blown up because of the coons and stuff. Cause I was still feeding like a lot of corn and whatnot. And I had coon tracks all over the property. And I said, you know, once, you know, I get back, I'm going to start trapping coons and whatnot and trying to be a quote unquote law abiding citizen. You can't track coons until October, which is dumb as hell to me because they are nuisance species. Like you should be able to take them out any time of the year. My point is he was saying, well, you catch them coons, bring them to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was like, he said, Bray, he was like, man, I cook some good coon. First of all, I've never heard anybody say that in my life. Of all the things that you are known for cooking, I've never heard anybody say, man, my coon is off the chain. Never heard that before, but yeah, that's what he said. He was like, man, I promise you, he was like, I will barbecue. He's like, I make it like pulled pork. And if you put a pan of pulled pork next a regular pan of pulled pork and pulled pork barbecue, or not pulled pork, but a pulled coon, he said you won't be able to tell the difference. I said, you damn lie. But he is not. He is also, like I said, the third or fourth person to say that. Man, what in the world? What are you talking about? What are y'all doing? That allegedly that this coon is gonna taste like barbecue, and I'm not gonna be able to tell the difference.
Man, the seasoning, you know, the preparation for it, whatever you put in it, you know, what you're marinating in, you know, and then you got to clean them, you know. Right. Make sure you clean, you know. Some people down here that identify it's a coon will leave one of the foot on the coon, you know, after they clean them. That way you'll know it's a coon. Cause you never know what somebody silly.
So you gonna barbecue a raccoon and you just gonna have the foot sticking out from me, huh?
No, when you get ready to cook him, you'll cut the foot off. Basically you cut the foot off, marinate and put all your vegetables or whatever you gonna put on them,
Right.
and then some people will wrap them up in foil or a pan and put them in that, on the pit. But man, the way we like to do them, we'll season them up and throw them on the grill just like he is and cook him like you barbecue chicken or something.
You killing me.
I
need I'm not saying, first of all, if I can get down there in September, I'm not saying that I'm trying coon. I'm telling you that right now. Don't have any delusions of grandeur about me trying raccoon. But I do want to see, this done, because obviously this ain't nothing new. And I know, like, if you listen to my podcast or whatever, and I've been talking about coons for the last couple of weeks because they're getting on my nerves and I can't stand them. Don't get me wrong. Trust me.
Yeah.
I know people are out there barbecuing raccoon, and I know a lot of people like to do like coon and sweet potatoes. They swear like that's like the second coming. So I'm familiar. Don't get it twisted. I'm familiar. I know it's done. I've just never seen it done. And I want to, like I said, if I can get there in September, you can put a coon on. I'll watch you do it. I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and try it, but y'all killing me. Y'all killing me with this coon. I tell you what, when I start trapping coons, if I can clean them and find a way to save them, brother, you get to Georgia, you can have all the coons you want.
Yeah, man. Hey, around here, man, when coon season in, man, people be wanting them left and right. Some people put them in the oven, put yams and potatoes on them. It's actually good, but I like them off the grill. My grandmother, she used to cook them in the oven. She about the only one that I eat out the oven when she cook them. She was the only one that I eat like that. Anybody else?
So coon is definitely like potato salad. Like you just can't eat everybody.
No, you can't eat everybody. Nah, you can't eat everybody coon.
Okay. Well, so will they take them frozen? Cause like I say, if I'm trapping coons and I take the time to clean them out and freeze them and, it's like, here you go. Yeah. There is a gift.
This how we'll do it. We'll kill them and freeze them, wrap them up, freeze them. And, if we give them to somebody, that's how we give them to them frozen. Yeah. It's like deer meat, once you kill a deer or whatever.
No, Fred, it's not like deer meat. That's my point.
Man, hey, don't knock it till you try it. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Man. No, like I said, you are not the first person, that's trying to get me on the coon train, but.
Yeah, man, they are nuisance, man. Speaking of coons, especially on feeders, what I tell anybody, if you got a feeder or anything with legs, the best way to keep them out, if you don't put PVC pipe around your leg, either get you some grease or Vaseline and cake it up all the way up your legs. And I tell you, man, I learned this from a guy. Actually, I was it's been over some years ago. I had leased this spot and the guy had left his feeder. Well, when I went to get it, it was an older guy. He was real old. He was like 65, 70. And when I went to move his legs, move his feeder, I would go take his feeder to him. Man, what's this on my hand? And it had grease on it. And I was like, what the world? I ain't never seen that contraption before, but, when I took it to him, man, what's that? Why you put grease on the leg? He said, man, you don't know nothing about that old trick? I was like, nah, that's something new to me. He said, man, that keep your coons and all that from climbing up your legs, spinning your feet, or tearing your feet up. I said, man, that's a good idea. So if anybody have leg, put grease, Vaseline, you can get grease that they grease your tractors and four-wheelers with. You can get that, or you can get Vaseline and put up your leg, man. It keep coons off your feet.
You know what? I might try that as an experiment, because I just got to the place where I got so frustrated that I completely stopped feeding corn, because there's a manufacturer here in Georgia and they make a powder version of their pellets. And I have not seen a raccoon since I switched to troughs and the powder version, because the little sedity rascals don't want to get it in their fur and then they little paws and whatnot, which is funny to me. It's just like you are the thief and the shyster of the woods, but you too sedity to get powder on your little fur or whatever. So they don't, like I say, they don't mess with it at all, but I may go back and try, with the grease and stuff. I've never heard that before. That's
yeah, man. Hey, if anybody, hey, they right there, that Vaseline or grease will get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll keep them off of it.
Man, and then the funny thing too, that it's funny that you brought up feeders, cause I was gonna ask you, correct me if I'm wrong, cause I saw you was out there, you get ready, putting some feed down in one of them gravity feeders. And it looked like you got that old Boss Buck gravity feeder. How you like that thing?
Man, I love it. For its gravity feeding around here, I love it.
Now, do you keep it? Now, is it out in the open, or like where a lot of heat and stuff can get to it, or is it back up like in the woods and some trees? The point that I'm getting to, because I recently purchased one, and the only reason I try to stay away from like products and stuff until people realize the value of my podcast and want to start paying me to talk about it. But the reason why I wanted to ask you about it is because I got one and I had it like deep in the woods. Like there's not a lot of sunlight and stuff coming in there. And then after a big rain, even with it closed off and stuff, the mold and whatnot inside the field, like it ruined a bunch of feed for me. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, maybe does it need to be like out in the open where the sun's constantly hitting it? Like, is there something different? Like, what am I missing?
The Boss Buck feeder, man, I think it's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put them in the opening in the woods. They completely sealed off. You ain't got to worry about no heat, moisture getting to them, or none of that like that. I mean, they good. You can leave I feed year round, and mine stay out all year round.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Been having them for some years. Ain't had no problem.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only thing I had problem with the first time was coon climbing up.
Yeah.
And one of them acted one of the lips off, with a feed, fall down to. So it running out on the ground, but I had to make something up to fix that. But that's the only problem you'll have. It just coon climbing on them.
Man, I had a picture. I think I posted it a while back. I had a picture. Man, one of them Sumbitches was swinging off of the port where the feed and stuff come out. He climbed up, and I guess he lost his like grip or lost his balance or whatever on the leg. Like once he reached to the port, and the Sumbitch was hanging off of the port, like hanging for dear life. Like trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, but after I switched to the pellet, it was fine and I didn't have any problems. But like I said, I had it like back up in the woods. So it was a lot of humidity, a lot of moisture, a whole lot of sunlight. So even after, a good rain, it's still humid and wet back up in there, 3, 4, 5 days after the fact. And I'm just guessing like the air, got up in there in the ports and then, got everything clogged up or whatever. That's why I was just wondering, like, if you had it like out in the open or whatever, where a lot of sunlight's hitting it, kind of keeping it dry almost.
Yeah, I have one out in the opening. Well, I have 2 out in the opening. Cause, one spot I have is, have a gas line running down through it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the opening, and then, one of my bow spots that I hunt, it's out in the opening on the edge of a wood line.
Okay.
So, I have one in the woods. I actually have a homemade one that I made that looked like a Boss Buck feeder, but it's a 55 gallon drum with the sprouts on it. But that one right there now, like you said, it fell over one year, and where the legs onto it kind of had a split. I had to feed, it did that, got moisture in it, stopped up. I'm wondering, man, what's going on? So it ended up finding out that's what it was. It was getting wet and getting moisture in it, and the feed, mold and get hard. So you end up having to pour it out. But the Boss Bucks, man, they some good feeders.
Okay. All right.
Around here, we can't use open top feeders or trough feeders. We got, like I said, Coons. Then you got wild hogs.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like here, like once I switched to a trough feeder, like I said, first I was doing pellets. Like there was no way I put corn. Like I put corn in the trough feeder. It was like a corn soybean mix. Man, I might as well just pour it on the ground because I had like coons, rabbits, squirrels, all of them in the trough, just kind of hanging out, just sitting in. I got pictures of them. They just sitting in the trough like they at the club or something.
Sitting all on top of the feed.
Yeah, like, you know, like this ain't the hangout spot. Like, what y'all doing? So I started feeding, you know, pellets, and that knocked it down a lot. Like a lot of the coons and the possums and stuff, and even the squirrels, they didn't really want to fool with the pellets. And then, like I said, I had a guy that was telling me about the powder, and I started putting the powder in there, man. And I don't hardly see any raccoons at all. But you know, you always want to try to keep a corn around just for like turkeys and stuff like that. I don't have any hogs, thankfully, on my property. But you know, you want to keep like the corn, you know, like for the turkeys or whatnot, and just to kind of like mix it up for the deer. But yeah, so I've been doing trough for about a year and a half now, and I love it just because, like I said, it keeps those varmints out. Man, Fred, I could do this all day long, man. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I know you said when we were talking briefly before that you had never, you know, done a podcast or whatever. And like I say, when I do these, it's not a formal like, hey, you know, let me ask you a question and you give me an answer. Then I ask you another question. You know, I just like to have a conversation, and you've been great. I thank you for taking time, you know, during your day. Where can people get information about your rides, your bow hunting tournament? Like, just if they want to follow you and check out the badass ATV videos, where can people find you at, Mo? You
can find me on Instagram at Fred Newton 07. I only do Instagram. I don't do the Facebook thing. And my wife been telling me I need to get back on Facebook, but you can find me at Fred Newton 07, or you can follow Southern Attraction Mudslangers on Instagram.
Awesome. And then give me the date. Give the folks the date one more time for your bow hunting tournament.
September the 22nd, 2019 in Strong, Arkansas.
Okay. What's that close to? What's the nearest like recognizable?
It's close to Eldorado, Arkansas. It's like an hour and 30 minutes from Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, man, I'm going to let you get out of here, get you some rest before you have to get back to work. Like I said, thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate it, and we'll do it again soon.
Man, thank you.
All right. Once again, I want to say thank you to Fred Newton for joining me on the Bryant Land Country Podcast. 2-part conversation, man. We just had a good time kicking back, shooting the breeze, talking about hunting, mudding, ATV riding, 4-wheeling, side-by-sides, trail riding. Just had a great time talking to Fred Newton. Once again, just a quick reminder, make sure you're checking out BryantLandCountry.com. We got all our videos, we got all our podcasts, and we got our merchandise. Everything Bryant Land that you need is on BryantLandCountry.com. So make sure you're checking that out. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Got some stuff I got to get done, but thank you again for joining me on the Bryant Land Country Podcast, and I'll catch you guys next week right back here for another episode of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Bryant Land Country Podcast, hosted by AB3. Please leave us a positive review and 5-star rating on iTunes. Be sure to check out our podcast section on our website, BryantLandCountry.com, for previous podcasts. Check us out on Instagram at Official Bryant Land and Twitter at 3BryantLand. This has been an AB3 Media production. Join us next time for another edition of the Bryant Land Country Podcast.